Good evening. It is Monday and this is Gwenda. Thank you all very much for your registrations for last week. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be with you, and I'm very grateful to Lisa being able to put up the message for you all. I'm delighted that I'm able to be here this evening. So, yeah, there was some really strange stuff going on today. Register as well to get the link. Very good. The link was updated, but what I have found, yay, Joe Flynn, hi Malachi, hi Kim Jane, hi Kelly. Good evening, Joe. What I have found is that people get used to doing autofills or using an old link, like, old address. It doesn't work. A lot of things have been changed because of the number of scammers and the number of trolls and things. So platforms have become, thankfully, more astute with the way that they are functioning things. So I hope that everyone else that registered last week, hi Ash, comes in again tonight. Your registration is still appropriate, because all that StreamYard did was change the date and time. So the link was the same. Anyway, here we are, and there is some of you. It is earlier, so I'm going to have a chat on a few things to start with, and I'm also going to, Jackie, are you in? Mandy. I'm going to have a bit of a look-see into those of you who are here and see what comes through. Some interesting things in here tonight. There's another lady that was trying to get in. So please do remember that when you are used to going on to any sort of live, if you're used to just having the web address or link address in your files, for example, or you go to history, it's not a good idea, especially with the way things are sort of tracking along around the world. So I'm just listening, and there is mention here about the terrible disruption in the Middle East, in Palestine, and Israel. There are so many things that are put in front of us on all sorts of media, be it mainstream or alternative media. And something that needs to be a lot more in your immediate focus is the present. So I know a lady who is Jewish, and she is very upset about what's happening with what she calls her people. And she's also a spiritual teacher of some description, life coach or whatever. And in one hand, she is acknowledging that these things, okay, so Lisa is watching live. Okay, cool. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for your message. Glad I saw it. You can simply come in on the same email link that you received last week, because of the way they've updated it. Oh, cool, Lisa, good. So in one hand, this lady is saying that she understands the deep state and the agendas and sort of who drives these wars. But then in the other hand, she's talking about the atrocities against her people. Now, when you are like that, there is not alignment. It is confusing for your higher mind, and it's confusing for your soul. So it's really important, if you are watching any kind of news, be it from alternative media or be it from mainstream, and bring yourself into the present of your own life. Not be drawn away and find yourself having this duality of thought. This world is enough duality without you adding more to it. So being very mindful of where you take your thoughts to when you are hearing about different things going on. Now, I'm going to tell you that there is going to be a surgence, an upsurge of a very troublesome energy. And that troublesome energy is being sent by a particular set of beings. There is no need for you to go into alarm or no need for you to wonder who that is, because I can promise you, you do not want to encounter them. Thank you, Malachi. Do you mean your dad, Kim Jane? It's come through as sad. I'm interpreting that as your dad. So this upsurgence of energy is going to be very disruptive, and people will feel as if their existing life circumstances, such as homelessness, vagrancy, uncertainty, depression, they're going to feel like the screws have been tied up really tight on those things that are in their life. Hey, Mandy, great to see you're in. That's great. So, yay, Lisa. Good on you all. Thanks for your perseverance, and it's a thrill to have you here. So this time, Jody Gooch, hello. Finally found me. I've been looking for you, young lady, in the society, and how funny, I sent out a message for you, and lo and behold, only a matter of hours, there was a notification from you. Love it, love it. So when you start to feel this upsurgence of energy that is heavy and makes you feel as if you are out of kilter in yourself, bring yourself right into what is present right in front of you. Take some lovely breaths and reassure yourself with words that bring you to being centered. Even as simple as, I am here right now. I see what is in front of me right now. And if you need to name what is in front of you, be it a favorite cat, a favorite doll, a favorite magazine, anything, if you want to name it like that, go right ahead, just to bring that centeredness into you. And then you'll find that you can go about your days with much more ease. This is yeah, I don't know if that was him or I remember. Thanks, Kim. Yeah. So this is coming, and the interesting timing of this upsurgence of energy is as we get closer to what in the Western world is called Christmas, and the relevance of what we have been taught Christmas is about. So to have these other beings from another part of the galaxies come in and be a nuisance, you can beat them. So what I'm saying to you is, any time that you feel like your energy is not yours, or you feel that you're very out of kilter in yourself, go to centering practices and not stress yourself about what it is. You know, there's a lot of time it's unnecessary. We don't need to know what something is. We need only to know that we need to center ourselves and bring ourselves into the present moment. And that's all, nothing more. So in the Soul Mastery Collective, our session this week was about the 7 systems of the body and how the emotions work with those 7 systems of the body. And it was really interesting, and something that I am going to seek guidance on and ask to be shown more about is when we have a limb or an organ removed from the physical body, the energy of it is still there. So recalling back 2 days when I was nursing and a gentleman had his leg removed, we came in to check him and he said he wanted to scratch his foot. So we went about scratching the foot that he had, and he said, no, the other one. And it was assumed that he was in a kind of shock, had not got used to the idea of not having his other leg. Wasn't that at all? How many of you have read stories or come across people who talk about their limb that has been amputated and they can still feel it? The fact of the matter is, because we are an energy being first, physical being second, everything about us exists. It just exists on a different plane of energy. So in the ether, the etheric energy, and some may say the astral field, there is the energy of what we think is gone from the physical. So what I'm going to look into is, how do we bring that back into the physical? And I can't wait to run my little experiment with the help of the angels and any other wonderful beings of heaven that can help with this. Because when you meet or read about the ancient Indian gurus, the original gurus who did a lot of practices aligned with yoga or yogic practices, they are said to be able to step in and out of their body, transform themselves into a different realm, and then come back. They are also reported to be able to pluck food, pluck jewels, pluck anything out of fresh air. Yes, not everybody can do that because it takes a certain level of consciousness to be able to do that, and a commitment to the practices. However, when we are talking about our own body, oh, Jody, did you? Well, it's working well tonight for you, darling, and I'm thrilled. When we have something removed from our own body, like when I have people come for guidance and reference is made to a kidney, a uterus, an ovary, they're very quick to say, oh, I haven't got that anymore. It's not there. So, you know, you as the reader, you're not very good. And it always delights me to be able to say to them, well, in actual fact, the energy and everything that belonged with that body, with that part of your body, is still present. So where I'm going with this is, when people want to heal, when they really want to heal, they need to be able to get to the root cause of what created the disturbance in the organ in the first place. So if an organ has been removed, all of the energy associated with what went wrong with that organ is still present in both the etheric body, astral body, physical body. And that is not a good thing. I had a beautiful young woman, was a client of mine when I was a master personal trainer, and it didn't matter if it was 20 degrees or 47 degrees. She would come in heavy black pants. And I've got to tell you, in the summer when she would come in, I would just about melt just looking at her, because I'm not a fan of really hot weather. And I said to her one day, why don't you wear shorts or at least knee-high pants? And she said, oh, no, I can never let my legs be seen. Now, she was 20 years of age. And there's me, nearly 50. And the shorter the shorts could be, the shorter the shorts were. So I'm looking at this 20-year-old telling me, oh, no, I'm not showing these legs. Another time, she said to me, I'll show you. So she rolled her pants up and showed me. And I must admit, I was quite taken aback. And I asked her, what do you think that is? And she said, I didn't like my saddlebag legs, so I went and had liposuction. Now, as a scrub nurse in the theatres, I know what liposuction is, and how it's done. And it was enough to make me cringe just listening to her. So she'd gone and had her saddlebags removed. Well, the body said, well, I actually wanted all of that excess fat and fluid. So it put it back all around her knees. Now, the knees represent ego stubbornness. The knees represent an inability to be able to express without coming from the ego mind. Knees are about stubbornness, where you just won't move out of your own way. So her body put all, and that's what she was amazed at, was the amount of this blubbery fat, was all dimply, around her knees, both knees, not just one. So any time that we have something taken, now I myself, I don't have fallopian tubes anymore due to ectopic pregnancies, and I don't have a gallbladder, I don't have an appendix. But what I've done over the years through the healing work I've done and the self-discovery, I don't have those imprints of what was with those organs. So if you have, like Jodie's saying, she's just had an organ removed. So this is an ideal time to go in and really check out, what does that organ hold? What emotion does that organ hold? And that's what I'm covering in the Soul Mastery Collective at the moment. But you can find some of my earlier videos on the H.E.A.L with Gwenda page, I believe, about this. And it is actually one of my favorite parts of the healing journey, because everything that manifests in the physical body is because of an inability for us to be able to express an emotion that has been brought about through a situation in our life. So it's really important to be best friends with your body and know what it's holding there. So in one of my gut health gallbladder, yeah, I can relate to that, Jodie. The gallbladder harbors bitterness and is closely related to the liver, which holds anger. Anger and bitterness go in together, and there's one other one, and it's resentment. So those are the three key emotions. And of course, not many people want to accept and look at where things in their life have brought them to a place of feeling those heavy emotions, and they're not very nice. So bitterness and resentment reside in the gallbladder. And how funny, the gallbladder being a little squidgy bag, it's not very big, but it packs a punch. When you carry a lot of resentment or bitterness, you create stones. So you create gallstones. And through that, you have disruption in the no, I can see your comment, Malachi, and plenty of them, and your previous one. So the gallbladder will make little gallstones that can become bigger gallstones and become a very serious problem because they get caught in the bile duct, which comes from backwards and forwards between the liver and the gallbladder. And then there are offshoot problems. I shouldn't be on Facebook, Kelly, actually. I didn't stream this to Facebook. YouTube, yes. So I'm a little bit perplexed about what StreamYard has done. Anyway, I can see your comments, Malachi. I can see everybody's comments, and Lisa. So that's really interesting that you can't, but I can. There it goes. So having a very close, yeah, there you go. So painful. Biggest one was 14 millimeters. Wow, Jody. My gosh, it took some work to create a gallstone of that size. Yo, no wonder it was painful. It is, yeah, see, Jody's on YouTube, and I shouldn't be on Facebook. I'm not doing these on Facebook. I have no time for Facebook. It's YouTube and website. Right. Okay. Let me come back into this important topic. So it is in your best interest to always be looking at what it is that you're harboring in your body. And then the other thing is the environment in which you live, and that takes a toll on every aspect of your life. So it's very important to be having a look at the environment you live in, what kind of noises, conversations, and all that sort of thing go on in your environment. Now, really interesting. So I'm just getting a little bit of interference from spirit. Kim Jane, this is not your father, but it is your grandfather, and it is your father's father, so immediate grandfather. And he says that there is a lot of healing to be done between your father and yourself, and that there is a lot of misunderstanding, but your father will soon have a much more clear understanding of his role in your life and also the decisions that he made on your life, about you. When he has finished that learning and he has that clarity, you will find that your life changes exponentially. Your father, Kim, needs to go through this healing process, which is done in his Hall of Records. Some call it the Akashic Records, where he is viewing and seeing all of his life play out in front of him. And a lot of it is around his lack of connection with you. So there will be some really nice outcomes for you, Kim. And your grandfather, whom tells me that there was no great relationship between you and him either, mainly because he went before you were here, and also because you moved away from the family, and he stayed nearby to your father. So there is some nice things to come for you, Kim. When we're looking at hearing from loved ones, it is quite a challenging thing to do. So many people want to hear from loved ones, but when it happens, without realizing, they put up a block on themselves. And it means that they're not able to receive the messages, the love, anything that's being sent for them. So if ever you're in a position where you want to hear from a loved one and you're reaching out to them yourself, one, they will always answer you. They will always be there. Two, be really brave. Be really brave and prepared to have the answers that you're calling for. You know, you request them, so sit up front and receive them. Now, I want you to know also that between now and Christmas, with this upsurge of heavy energy, it is going to be quite difficult for there to be communication between the heavens and between here. You'll also find that there will be a very big increase in people claiming to be talking to galactic beings and channeling messages from galactic beings. And I will sit here and tell you, move away. Move away from people who claim to be doing that. You know, it's all too easy to claim a title. I'm a Jackie, you are here. It's all too easy to claim a title. I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm a large psychic, medium, healer, clairvoyant, shaman, and all this guff. Yes, that's right, Lisa, as fast as you can. But the number of people who want to put a title like that on themselves and even step up and offer services have no clue what they are dealing with and can't manage it themselves, have no clue how to actually connect and know who they're going to be talking to or who's talking to them. It is a very real thing when people say they hear voices, but they are not mad. They have been somehow opened, or they've been open all their life and just do not know how to manage those voices. I was asked to go to a locked ward on a mental ward in a hospital here in Perth to help this lady. Her daughter's best friend asked me, please, can you help my friend's mum? And I asked her what had been going on. And she said, the lady went, she was being a clairvoyant and a shaman. And then she went out bush. She went out bush to do one of those times, you know, where they've got to go out bush and they get all these downloads. Well, I don't get those because I'm not a computer. So they get these downloads and amazing messages and talk to other beings and things. And ever since she went out bush, she's been really weird. And then she started harming the family. So long story short, she ended up in the lock ward, which is the most scary and dangerous place. So I said, sure, I have no fear of any of them. So I go along to the lock ward, had to be permitted by family and all the rest. So the friend of the daughter wouldn't come. She was too frightened of her mum. So the family friend, who was looked upon as a daughter, she came along. Now, I was instructed to take rosemary, the herb rosemary. I was also instructed to make a cross out of the rosemary. And I thought, wow, this is going to be fun. So I go along to the lock ward and we have to wait for them to bring her forward. And then they lock us in a little room with her. Like, well, now we're looking at serious fun because we're locked in with her now. And initially, the being that was in her, did a quick scan of me, and it was like, it was really quite whatever. And then she was looking at my bag, and I said, "Is there anything that you want from there?" And she took a hold of the ends of the couch she was sitting in and placed her hands like this. And I thought, here we go. And she turned her head to the side and brought it back. And then this growly voice answered me. And the poor friend, family friend, I'm trying not to laugh, but truly it makes me laugh. And I can imagine Lisa's face. So she wanted to get out of there right then and there. And I just said to her, it's okay. It's okay. It won't get you. So then I asked this thing some questions. And you know what it did? It bounced my life back to me. Oh, yes, I've been where you've been. And I said, oh, is that right? Where have you been? Well, I was a nurse and I was in theatre. Now, this thing knew nothing about me, never met me. And it's like, yes, I was a theatre nurse. In fact, I was a surgeon, but you didn't work for me. And I said, that's right, I didn't, and I still don't, because you're not a surgeon. And it said, oh, yes, I am. And I thought, I know where you're going with this. And I said, well, what else have you done? And again, served back to me things I've done in my life. And I thought, okay, I nearly had enough of this show. So then I asked to speak to the lady who owned the body that you are sitting in. I call upon, and so I was calling forward. Well, it did not like that at all. Now we're getting to a scene out of The Exorcist. Yes, Lisa. And that poor girl sitting next to me, she was terrified as this woman's hands began to become talons. Right before our eyes, her fingers started to extend, her jaw started to jut forward. And I thought, wow, here comes party time. So this poor girl sitting next to me, she's like, I think we need to leave, Gwenda. And I said, no, we're just getting started. So in my mind and telepathically, I start speaking to this being that's in house with this woman. And its talons were growing longer, and she started to growl and carry on as they do when they get really rattled. And then I was still speaking telepathically, and this lady said, the friend said, what are we going to do with her? I said, there's nothing we can do, because the thing is, that thing, that being will get out of her when it's had enough of her, and it is now in the best place. Remember, we were in a locked ward in a mental hospital. So there are lots of people in there who have, for whatever reason, become very removed from their soul, from their body, and have got a lot of fragmentation going on. So these beastie things, that's the best place for them, because they literally get out of one body and go to the next. So when, yes, it is terrifying, Malachi, but you need to work on that in regards to the forget. Yes, Jody, very sad. So when this thing said, I'm not talking to you anymore, I said, well, I have something for, and I used the lady's name. I said, I have something for her. I'm going to call her Annie Mae. It's nothing like her name. And I got the rosemary cross out. Well, that's when the fun really began. And this thing was not impressed. It got up to launch at me, and I just held the rosemary cross up. And I said, "Do you see who is with me?" And it hissed and growled, and then it banged and banged and banged on the window of the door and on the button to release. So when people tell me that they are a shaman, a clairvoyant or whatever, and they don't know how to deal with these things because that's what they're opening themselves up to, it really concerns me that a title can just be applied because of some experiences, childhood experiences, traumatic experiences, or they've gone to a meditation and the facilitator has opened them and not closed their chakras down and left them in a terrible state, left them subject to things that wander around looking for an empty house or looking for an opportunity. So when you are thinking, yes, yes, not the one they think, Lisa. So experience. Yeah, Jackie, you've done mental health nursing. Yeah, it's challenging, all right. Very challenging. And those lock wards are frightening. When you are looking at wanting to expand yourself, I'm going to come back to the guidance of you being present with who you know yourself to be in that moment, present with what you can feel in your physical self in that moment. And if you go to seek guidance from someone who's calling themselves a shaman, a healer, a clairvoyant, whatever, word they're using, let your intuition be your greatest ally. And if there is anything in their energy or their appearance that makes your hair stand on ends, gives you goosebumps, make you feel nauseous, or you find before you go you get a thumping headache, then I would suggest you revisit and find out a little bit more about that person. In the last 10 years, it would be, there has been a huge surgence in people claiming to be all these different titles, many of whom have gone and done a weekend course or a 6-week course. I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. Obviously, it's your choice, but please take this information and use it to be more aware of what it is that you are stepping into. Because you are, oh, Lisa, you're very kind. Thank you. You are placing yourself in a situation that could go very skew-whiff. The other side of the coin is these people who claim to connect with galactic beings or other universal beings. They don't know who they're talking to. Dangerous. In a word, dangerous. So as we get this upsurge of energy coming through between now and Christmas, keep yourself very centered. If some of you are in the Spirit Seekers Society, a couple of you have done things with me, use the practices and stay aligned and true to your own heart and to yourself. That's all you need to do. And that will guide you and be your guide for you to be able to smooth sail through all of this tumultuous energy that is on its way. Some of this energy is fallout in human form, is fallout from what's gone on in the East, in the Middle East, sorry. And what that does is we've got human emotion, human collective energy now getting swirled up and mixed up with these other beings. And that makes it an awful melting pot. There is no need to fear when you stay focused and aligned on your life and who you know yourself to be and what matters to you, and applying daily practices to your life, particularly of grounding, clearing, and cleansing. And these practices are in the Soul Mastery, and they're also in the School of H.E.A.L. They are very important practices to know and to apply. You can clear your energy very easily with a shower, a swim, and you need to understand your intention. So Jody and I think Jody, you're the only one here tonight that's done the School of Wisdom and came into the Wisdom classroom. So Jody's familiar with these practices. Michelle, who will watch later, same. And they can verify to you the difference that the practices make in their life. You're too good. Thank you, Jackie. Too kind, you girls, too kind, but thank you. A Down Under medium show. Well, maybe I should go along and disrupt it. I enjoy that. I used to do that at some of the big psychic fairs, go and flush out the pretenders. Very good, Malachi, very good. It's a good choice. So most importantly, as you move ahead in your life, really make sure that you know what it is that you want in your life, and you know what it is that you want to be in your life, and let that be your foundations. Thank you, Jody. Let that be your foundations and your way of being, therefore your way of living. It's really important. So, you know, I've talked to you before about my friends from the Crystal Kingdom. In the December, I think, live teaching session that I will be doing in the Spirit Seekers Society, I'm going to cover the different kingdoms that support you and that have tools for you to be able to live more grounded, centered, and aligned with your soul in this lifetime. So I'm really looking forward to presenting that. So one of the beautiful kingdoms, of course, is the Crystal Kingdom, and I'm just hanging out to show you, Lisa and everyone, the new edition. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Look at that. Isn't that just sensational? The color doesn't really come up, doesn't do it justice on the screen from what I can see there, because it's not the blue that it looks. It's an incredible turquoise blue, and it's called Appetite. And I'm just putting it down now, Lisa. It's called Appetite. What an interesting name. And what is even more interesting is many of the crystals are now being ceased from being mined. You know why? Because too many people are dying on the mining sites where they're taking the crystals from. And I think that speaks volumes. That is not to say that the Crystal Kingdom are malicious or malevolent or anything like that, because they're not. But mankind, yes, it is gorgeous, Malachi, mankind just is relentless in their pursuit of ruining this magnificent planet. So at some point, things have got to change, got to turn. So there is quite a number of crystals that will no longer be available, and the mines have been shut down, but it's because of the number of deaths. So I find that really interesting. Yes, Lisa, absolutely. Stop the mining crystals. I quite agree, Malachi. Yes, it is very pretty, Lisa. Back to breathe, grounding. Very good, Malachi. Good choice. And Kim Jane, your daughter does a wild show, The Wicked Laugh. Not sure what to make of it. The Wicked Laugh. I would be a little bit concerning. Yeah, Lisa, I knew what you meant. I would be a little bit concerned. Maybe depends on what's coming through with that. I've had many, many encounters with the dark side, the demons, and so forth. And, there are some of these would-be clairvoyants, shamans, and so forth who will say that it's just an extension of you. It's a part of your personality. My gosh, that is just the biggest crock of rubbish under the sun. So be very, very aware of the conversations you have, the things you read, the things you watch, because all of that invites these not so friendly beings into your life. And it's, yes, it is absolute rubbish, Malachi. It is really important at this time that you hold your energy in the greatest of clarity and the greatest of purity. Now, sure, we are not in human form, we're not pure, right? And we're not, what's the word, A grade or whatever, because of the way this life is. However, our natural form, our divine self, is definitely pure. So when you call upon that aspect, which is you, the essence of you, then you bring purity and the light, the divineness of you forward, and nothing can touch that. Nothing. So anytime that you want to stand in a greater sense of purpose, a greater sense of place in your life, just call forward the divinity within you. And any time that you may feel a little bit unsettled with the way life is, or needing some kind of greater assurance, do the same thing. Call forward your divine essence, the beauty of who you are. You'll be amazed how life changes. You'll be amazed how things around you change, because the divine essence that you are is also your source of alchemy. That is where you transform things. That's how you transform things. So you can tap into that anytime, and nothing can come forward to you when you are coming through that space. Keep that in mind for the rest of your life. And if you have children, teach them about the divine light that lives within them, and let them use things that are like a star, that show that magnificent light that a star has, or a golden light. Isn't it funny that at school back in the day, if you excelled, you got a gold star? How interesting is that? It's great, Malachi. Great. Glad you've enjoyed it. I never know what's going to come through. It's often a bit of an interesting ride for myself. and fun, very much so. Now, the other thing that I'm not sure. They might be emojis that you're sending here, Jody, are they? They come up like little canisters, and I'm guessing they're emojis. So thank you. That's right, Jackie. Gold stars were uplifting, but isn't it interesting that they chose gold stars? Because really, divine light is the most brilliant white with gold. Absolutely amazing. So, in that, or could be uplighting too, Jackie. I think you're onto something there. In all of that, our beautiful visitor who has been overseeing me tonight is Archangel Jophiel and also Archangel Metatron. So they've been doing a little bit of a switch in and out with my presentation for you tonight. So I give my greatest thanks to Archangel Jophiel and Archangel Metatron. They are so very different, uniquely different, and yet they both have so much to offer, as you've found tonight. So this beautiful piece is called lepidolite. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the sparkles in that. And then sodalite. So these are the ones that wanted to come forward. And the interesting thing is, these belong to those archangels. I don't question when I am sent to my crystal cabinet, when I'm going to do one of these shows and I'm asked to get a particular crystal, I don't question, I trust explicitly. And I also don't question who's coming, because I like to wait and see what it is that they have to share. So lepidolite is another beautiful crystal. And whilst I do have a crystal collection, I am very grateful to Mother Earth for them, and I look after them extremely well. And if she's ever ready or wishes to take them back, then they'll be released immediately and in the right way. Yeah, thank you. Tech issues. Yeah, that was me last week, but I was on the East Coast last week. So it's been really lovely to sit with you all tonight, and I thank you. I thank you for your persistence of, oh, beautiful, Jody. Blue hearts. Well, that's really interesting. Blue hearts. I nearly wore a blue bandana for my nephew Jack tonight. Blue hearts are what we use for him. And I have felt him around because it was his birthday. Thank you, Kelly. Cool stuff. It's been really lovely, and the energy, of course, has been, for me sitting here, has been beautiful. So when you're able to feel it, more, thank you, Lisa. When you're able to feel it, don't question it. A lady asked me, is having guidance over the internet or a healing, is it as good as in person? Well, nothing's really as good as in person, but when we are working with archangel presence and divine masters, well, their energy knows no boundaries, just like yours. So it's more about how receptive we are to receive with graciousness their energy. And nothing can stop that. Nothing at all. Jody. So happy I found you tonight. Thank you. One of the children I was looking after today told me she had 2 flying unicorns at home. That's beautiful. Oh, that's so precious, Jody. Wow, encourage her to connect with her unicorns. The land of where the unicorns are from is nothing short of magical, and it's pleasure. Pleasure, pleasure. Thank you, Malachi. It's really lovely. Really appreciate it. I appreciate you all coming in. Yes, using the link, you can always come back to watch any of the shows again. And that's one of the beauties of registering. It means that you have the show to listen to or listen back to again anytime. Yeah, it's fantastic. And that's the other reason that I like working it this way. So, oh, hello, Kylie. Sneaking in the background there, girl. Didn't know you were here tonight. So lovely to see you here. Thank you. And Mandy, you're very quiet tonight, my girl. Didn't like those talons, hey? No, just Trick and Mandy. It's all right, darling. So it's a pleasure to work with you and to bring through their messages and to help you in some way, shape, or form. So the actual page, I can emails, I can register. That link, I would think, Malachi, use that link, should take you to it. But I might put this one, those of you who are in the Spirit Seeker Society, if you would like me to upload this one in there, well, I can do that easy enough. So until next week, I bid you all much love, divine blessings, and wrap you up in gold starlight. And everyone have a magical week ahead. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.